Quick, energetic montage. Kelly and Mark laughing on live. A black and white photo of them as a young couple. A slow-motion shot of them holding hands on a red carpet. Then a sudden, slightly blurred, tense-looking shot of them whispering intensely to each other off stage. Soaring, then slightly suspenseful music. For over 25 years we've watched them. We've invited them into our living rooms with our morning coffee. Kelly, the effervescent spark plug, and Mark, the steady, smoldering anchor. Their love story felt like a public gift, a testament that, in the whirlwind of Hollywood, a true, lasting partnership was not only possible, but it could also be fun. We watched the fairy tale unfold. The whirlwind romance on the set of All My Children, the secret Vegas wedding, 3 beautiful children, a career they built, side by side. It was a masterclass in lasting love. But recently, a subtle shift. A whispered conversation caught off guard. A fleeting look that seems less like a secret joke and more like a secret worry. Fans are asking, is the unshakable foundation showing cracks? Is the legendary chemistry cooling? What if we told you the tension is real, but it's not what you think? This isn't a story of a marriage falling apart. This is the story of a marriage being forged anew in the fires of a profound, life-altering challenge. Strap in, because what's really going on behind the scenes of America's favorite couple will not just surprise you, it will inspire you. Let's address the elephant in the room, the clues. You've seen them. On the show, Kelly's legendary energy seems, at times, forced. The laughter doesn't always reach her eyes. And Mark, ever the protector, has been quieter, more watchful. His hand on her shoulder seems less a casual gesture and more of a steadying force. Online sleuths and gossip columns are having a field day. "Trouble in paradise," the headlines scream. They point to these moments as evidence of a rift. But they are reading the map all wrong. These aren't signs of a couple growing apart. These are the signs of a couple building a fortress around each other to protect what's inside. And the reason for that wall is the key to everything. But before we reveal the nature of that storm, we have to go back, way back, to a tiny hotel room in Las Vegas and the single most reckless, beautiful, and terrifying decision of their lives. A decision that created the unbreakable bond they are leaning on now more than ever. A collage of old, slightly grainy photos of a young Kelly and Mark on the set of All My Children, then a romantic, cinematic shot of the Vegas Strip. Think of it. 1996. Kelly was the rising star of daytime, trapped in a storyline she hated. Mark was the handsome new heartthrob, the Mateo that set hearts aflutter. The chemistry was instant and nuclear, but this wasn't just a fling. Mark saw in Kelly a fierce intelligence and a whirlwind spirit he couldn't resist. Kelly saw in Mark a grounded, old-soul maturity that anchored her. After a year of a passionate, secret romance, they did it. They flew to Vegas. She was in a borrowed, rumpled shirt. He was in a pair of jeans. In a chapel that smelled of cigarette smoke and cheap perfume, with 2 strangers off the street as their witnesses, they pledged their lives to one another. It was impulsive. It was crazy. It was the kind of gamble that defines a lifetime. They didn't have a prenuptial agreement. They didn't have a plan. All they had was a wild, unshakable faith in each other. That faith became their cornerstone. It was the foundation for their family, their business, their everything. It was the one thing they knew, without a doubt, they could always count on. But what happens when the one thing you've always counted on is suddenly tested? The screen splits. On one side, a recent glowing photo of Kelly and Mark at a gala. On the other, the screen slowly cracks, the image distorting slightly. For decades, that faith was their superpower. It saw them through career changes, the chaos of parenting, and the immense pressure of living their lives in the public eye. But last year, something shifted. A phone call, a doctor's visit, a silence that fell over their home that was heavier than any they had ever known. We will not speculate on the specific, private medical diagnosis. That is their story to tell if they ever choose to. But what we can talk about is the impact. Because for the first time in their 28-year partnership, one of them was facing a battle that the other could not fight for them. Mark, the ultimate protector, could not protect Kelly from this. And Kelly, the vibrant life force, felt her energy, her very spark, being threatened. This is the source of the tension, not anger, not disillusionment. It's the terrifying, gut-wrenching tension of watching the person you love more than life itself in pain and feeling powerless. It's the tension of being the one in pain and trying to shield your partner from the full force of your fear. The whispered conversations, strategy sessions, the intense looks, a silent language of, "Are you okay?" and "I'm still here." So, the fairy tale was over? No. The fairy tale was just beginning, because this is when the Vegas vow, the wild faith, had to be put to the ultimate test, and what they did next, how they chose to fight this battle, will redefine everything you thought you knew about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. The screen lights up with a warm, golden glow, a shot of two pairs of running shoes side by side, then a shot of a simple, home-cooked meal. They made a pact. A partnership protocol, they called it. It wasn't dramatic, it was deliberate. First, every morning they would acknowledge out loud that they could not control the illness, but committed to the process. Second, the micro moment. Instead of being overwhelmed by the big, scary picture, they instituted a rule. Find one 5-minute period every single day while making coffee, during a commercial break, where they would not talk about treatments or fears. They would just be Mark and Kelly. They would talk about a movie, tease each other, remember Vegas. They fought to protect the us from the it. And third, and perhaps most importantly, the unified front. They decided that their public life, their work on live, would not become a somber reflection of their private reality. It would be their sanctuary, a place of normalcy, of joy, of the professional craft they both adore. The tension the world saw was the immense effort of building this unified front, a dam against the tide of their private reality. They didn't retreat, they didn't hide. They showed up, and in showing up, with all that silent, fierce love flowing between them, they were not hiding their struggle. They were redefining it. They were proving that a marriage isn't just about sharing the sunshine. It's about being a shelter for each other in the storm. And the strength of that shelter is about to be revealed in the most surprising way imaginable. Because the storm they were weathering in private was about to collide head-on with the brightest, most public spotlight of their careers, a moment that would force every bit of that hidden tension out into the open and leave the entire world breathless. This script for the first section establishes the tone, mystery, and inspirational core. Subsequent sections would delve into the specific public event, e.g., an award show or a particularly emotional episode of Live, where their private struggle became a public triumph. Deeper analysis of their partnership protocol with insights from relationship experts. The concept of post-traumatic growth and how challenges can forge a level 2 love, deeper and more meaningful than the initial passion. A powerful conclusion that reframes the entire scandal as a lesson in resilience, commitment, and the hidden strength within long-term partnerships.